Hello guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. Please support us by hitting the like button and subscribing. There are unique islands in the oceans that are worth knowing. All the world's oceans are not without these islands. They can be found in the Indian Ocean, in the North and South Atlantic, and in the Pacific Ocean, both in the north and north. So, what is the name of these islands? They all have a common name, Ashfall Island. Since our world became modern, our garbage has increased many times. Plastics are ruining our lives, and the waste of these plastics can be found in all waters. Do not think that these islands are as beautiful as other islands. When millions of tons of garbage floats on the water, it collects on the side, and when you look from a distance you think it's an island. How beautiful can it be? Apart from the ugliness, let's go a little further and see what this garbage looks like up close. The further we go, the more ugliness appears. Most of these wastes are plastic, and the reason is that currents or oceans gather together in the form of an island, which creates a plastic mess in different places, from large pieces of plastic to the smallest ones. Since most of the countries of the world knew that this garbage that they pour into the waters will one day affect the world. First of all, it narrows the living space of marine creatures, and secondly, it causes these ugly landscapes to appear. When these problems became more visible, many scientists thought of researching this issue and finding a proper solution. Throwing giant nets into the ocean, towing them with a ship and taking them to land to see what kind of garbage it is and where it came from. What do you think made up most of this garbage? All kinds of plastic bottles, of course. There are all kinds of plastic in these, but most of them are bottles. They took these samples from the 5 big garbage islands. They estimated that there are about 400,000 tons of plastic in these islands. How little is this amount? Only 1% of the garbage. Plastic is the world, so where is the other 99%? Experts say that there are at least 1 million tons of plastic waste in the world's waters. This statistic caused them great concern. It is estimated that there are 8 million tons, but the inventory is 400,000 tons. Please support us by hitting the like button, subscribing, especially around important beaches where a large population lives. They manage to find plastic fibers in the waters. Fibers that are like human hair, but are plastic, and are abundant in water, which of course we cannot see with our eyes. If you have seen the clip on the history of plastic and other things, you must know that after the Second World War, the production of plastic increased dramatically. So that after 1945, its growth has doubled every 15 years. It means that the growth of scientists is to achieve that plastic waste has doubled every 15 years. That is, if you put their growth chart, they will be exactly the same as everyone else. Most of the plastic waste is microplastic. Now what is microplastic? Any plastic that is less than 5 millimeters in size, whether it is plastic fibers or pieces larger than 5 millimeters, these are microplastics. Where do these microplastics come from? From bigger pieces that break and eat, because plastic decomposes very slowly, but it is eaten and even becomes so small that we cannot see it with our eyes. And this is what makes the issue scary. If you have clothes that are made with petroleum materials, such as nylon, polyester, or other polys, they are all woven with plastic threads. These threads are eaten, and this thread waste floats in the oceans. Think about it. All these microplastics enter the body of marine creatures, from small to large. If you have seen the video of the Mariana Trench on air, you know that plastic waste has penetrated to the deepest parts of the planet. In sampling these plastics, they found pieces that had belonged to many years ago. For example, this basket was produced in 1971. 50 years have passed since that date, and it is still playing on the waters, and has come near the shores of Taiwan. But this basket was not the only one in terms of age, because many other plastics are also old, if it doesn't double every 15 years. Therefore, most of them must be newer, but new ones can be found by force. Due to this failure, they are forced to change their methods to see where the new plastic waste is, to monitor the waters of different beaches, especially countries that do not care about the environment. Mostly in South and East Asia, such as India, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Philippines, and Indonesia. When you check the beaches of these countries, you will see that there are many new plastics in them. And most of the lost plastics are near the beaches. From the coast to 100 kilometers from the coast, It has the most new garbage, which of course constitutes the largest amount of plastic waste in the world. Because we said that those plastic islands are only 1% of garbage. If you pay attention to this animation, will you understand how the flow of the Earth's waters formed those waste islands? Of course, this 12-year-old animation that is from 220, this map of plastic waste along the beaches also shows the red lines that you see. The more ugly the line, the more garbage. What do you see in Southeast Asia? Even the coasts of China and Japan have not spared the Mediterranean coasts, even the Black Sea and the Persian Gulf. The coasts of America and Canada are the cleanest. Some places collect more, some places less. If there is little trash on the west coast of America or the coast of Chile, it is because the water flow does not allow it and there is less population than other places like Southeast Asia. They are the garbage that slowly drifts away from the shores and goes into the ocean to fill the islands and make those islands bigger. A process that of course takes years. That's why most of the plastics on the islands are old. This is the older garbage, most of which either turns into microplastics or, for example, becomes covered with moss, gets filled with water, becomes heavier and sinks down, which is why plastic is also found in the Mariana Pit. You should know that most of the aquatic creatures live near the coasts. For example, if you go to the middle of the ocean, you can find few creatures, and this is the main problem. These plastics somehow get into the bodies of organisms that are abundant near the coasts, from sharks and big whales to shrimps and small fishes, even in the bodies of very tiny microplanktons. Plastic is found. Note that plankton is one of the most important foods for shrimps, and you already know what happens. The latest statistics prepared by scientists is that more than 50% of plastic waste is in the first 100 kilometers of the coast. A high percentage of these plastics are in the form of microplastics in the waters. The rest are plastics that go deeper, even reaching the bottom of the Mariana Trench. And the lowest percentage that exists is about 1% that floats on the waters and forms these islands. Is it scary? Until a few years ago, scientists thought that more than 90% of plastic waste was collected in these islands. Now understand that these are nothing. What should we do now? How can we get rid of these? If we want to get rid of these, every person who lives on this planet, especially near the coasts, should look at these wastes as an enemy. There are them everywhere and put them in the trash cans. Most plastics, even those dumped in the forest, enter the cycle of nature, either in the sea or on land. And the bottom line is that we humans are risking life on this earth for our own comfort, both animals and humans. Each of us must start from ourselves. Don't throw any garbage in the nature. If we see someone doing this, we must warn him. The only way we can get rid of this garbage is to contain it in the first stage and not let it go in the nature so that they can find themselves. Take them anywhere, even inside our body. I repeat, microplastics are really a new and big problem. What can microplastics do inside our body? Scientists say that when they enter our body, they can damage all the organs of the body, have a negative effect on our hormones, which is very dangerous and can disrupt the balance of life. The other damage it does can damage our nervous system. Harvard University scientists, after a complete investigation, they realized that microplastics inside our body can damage DNA, and when DNA is damaged, it means that plastic cancer has taken over the world. How can we prevent it from entering our body? Unfortunately, we cannot prevent them 100%, but we can greatly reduce them so that at least we get less damage. Experts say that most of the microplastics that enter our body come from plastic packaging, especially plastic bottles, which are very easy to drink in bottles or eat food in plastic containers. And we slowly introduce microplastics into our bodies. What does it mean? Does that mean we should not eat anything in any plastic container? No, it's not possible. But we can try to use less plastic, that is, use a plastic cup instead of our own glass cup. Put it in china dishes, not plastic dishes. Don't even use a plastic board to eat anything. Wooden boards are the best that I used to have. If we all follow these points, we can fight this problem and reverse it day by day. We hope you liked this article. Please support us by hitting